So today I've got something very special for you. I have a beautiful ingredient to showcase. I am going to show you the Kobe beef of the pork world. So this is the pork belly from the Mangalitsa. Take a look at this. So you can see it has a very high fat content right there. If you haven't heard of it before, it is used in high-end restaurants, especially the Michelin ones, and top chefs love this product because the pork is really sweet and it has a very high fat content. What we're going to do with this, I'm going to turn some of this into bacon. So yes, I'm going to show you how to make some really cool bacon with this. So now we're going to dry cure this bacon. So basically we're going to get some salt, sugar, and this stuff, which is called pink curing salt, sodium nitrate. If you've ever had pastrami, I've done a video on that. This is what gives it that color, and it's added to bacon. Now the general rule of thumb is 2 parts salt to 1 part sugar, and whatever that weight is, you need 10% of that total weight in pink salt. So that bacon weighs about 1.77 kilos. If you're going anywhere up to about 2.5 kilo, down to about 1.5 kilo, we're going to need about 30 to 50 of this dry cure because we're going to dredge it all in that and put it into a Ziploc bag and stick it in the fridge for about a week or more. So more on that later. Let's get measuring this out. So you want to make sure you get skin on pork belly. And I'm going to cut this in half. We're not going to use all of this. So that piece looks good to me because it's fairly straight edges and lines. I'm not going to trim it up too much. Looks pretty good to me. Now this weighs about 1.77 grams. So anything under 2.5 kilo, you need about 30 to 50 grams of dry cure in total. So I'm going to use 30 grams of kosher salt and then 15 grams of fine sugar. So there's my 2-to-1 ratio. So if you use 40 grams of salt, you would need 20 grams of sugar. Now I need 10% of that cure weight. So 45 grams, 10% of that is 4.5 grams. That's how much pink salt I need. Mix that through and there is your dry cure. You might not need to use all of this, it keeps indefinitely. Now to take the flavor profile up a bit, use some garlic and herbs. Now I'm going to do about 5 or 6 cloves of garlic and herbs of your choice. I'm doing rosemary and thyme and some bay leaf. You can use whatever you have. Also, black peppercorns is a great addition. Get a couple of spoons or like tablespoon and a bit, just dump them on your board and just crush them. You can use the same curing container or anything you have to hand. Get that in with your curing mix. This gives a nice flavor balance to everything. Okay, now you're going to dump this all out on a tray. We might not need to use all of this. Get your pork belly and we're just going to press down all the sides, top, bottom, everything. Shake off any excess so that all the cure is all over the piece of pork belly. So this is going to dry cure quite nicely. Like I said, we don't need all that curing salt in there, but this is what we want to do. Shake off a bit of excess, get a Ziploc bag big enough to fit the pork belly, add your herbs and garlic in there first, then go in with the pork belly, just massage everything, make sure everything's all kind of in there and mixed together. Seal it up. Obviously you want to add a date on there so you know when you put it in, and it's going to sit in the fridge for about a week. More on that now. Now, I've done it savory, that's why I've got the herbs in there, garlic, things like that. But if you want to do it sweet, you can also do that. Put in maple syrup, you can have a bit of a liquid brine too. What we're going to do with this now is every other day we're just going to flip it just to make sure that liquid is redistributed quite evenly all the way through this process. So, we'll see this one in a week. Now, we want to check and make sure it's nice and firm when we push it in the thickest parts of the pork belly, which this is. This has been in for a week. The thicker the bacon, the longer it takes to cure. Now, what we're going to do is wash off all that dry cure off it so it's not too salty. Use some nice cold running water, make sure it's all nice and clean. Take that off, and then what we're going to do is pat it dry and make sure it's nice and dry. Now, the next step is to smoke this bad boy, but you can also leave it in your fridge for up to 3 days if you've got a few other things planned, which I do, being a new dad. So having a daughter is a very busy schedule indeed. So I'm going to leave it in the fridge for 24 hours while I do a few other things. Okay, now it's been a day. That looks pretty good. So let's see if we can smoke this. Let's have a look at the weather outside. It's -25. Yep, that ain't happening. I am not doing that. I love you all, but I need to save myself. So we're going to do this in the oven. Now just get yourself a rack, put it into a tray, put your pork belly on top of the rack, and we're going to bake it in an oven set to 200 Fahrenheit or 225 for about 2 to 3 hours until it reaches an internal temperature of 150 Fahrenheit or 65 degrees C. This is smelling pretty damn good. Now cut off the rind while it's hot. Don't be a donut like me. Put it on a board. Yes, this is very hot. I'm trying to be a cowboy there. And then just cut that straight off. Use some tongs, that will help. Now don't throw this rind out. You can use it in stews. Very nice indeed. cut off a little piece now while it's a bit warm. I'm just going to scrape off a bit of that fat. Look at it, it looks so glorious. I'm going to give it a little taste test just to make sure it's not too salty. If it is a bit too salty, don't worry, you can just boil your bacon first for a minute or two before you cook it. Okay, so we're going to stick that in the fridge to cool down. I've wrapped it. It's the next day. I'm just going to trim off some of the edges of this bacon because we want the inside of the bacon. So those little end bits have just kind of cured and done their job. Save them, put them in a stew or a hash or something. They're quite tasty. And have a look at that. Can you see the pink curing salt working there? You got that lovely color and that bacon looks pretty good. Now this is a high fat content bacon, so I'd imagine this will shrink. So we're going to start this off in a cold pan. It's going to sizzle, it's going to spit. It will reduce. This is Mangalitsa. You can see the more fat there, it is going to shrink quite a bit. And then we're just going to slowly cook it and flip it. That looks quite nice. You might need to press it down because I've cut the bacon thick, so it will curl up a little bit. So just use a little kind of spatula here and just press it down. Very nice indeed. Now all that fat in the pan, don't throw it out. That is gold dust. Save that for all your roast potatoes, breakfasts, anything you want to do. But this is smelling pretty damn good. Now let's get it on the board and let's have a little taste test. It's got a good crisp as I cut it. It's nice, it's sweet. You can taste the herbs, the garlic, the black pepper. That is really nice and satisfying. Okay, my friends, I'll see you on the next one. Bring home the bacon.